For years now, Bed Wars players across the world have been practicing bridging methods to get them from island to island faster, and me? Well, let's just say I've never been particularly good at it. I've always been stuck just with the most simple bridging method there is, the speed bridge. And honestly, I don't think I'll ever improve.
Psych!
For most players, anything above a speed bridge is really just out of the question. For me though, I always found bridging and the community around it very interesting, and for that reason, I kinda got a little bit good at it. The issue with bridging is, when I learned how to speed bridge, I told myself I might want to learn breezily and then stop. After that, I told myself moonwalking might be interesting as it was very similar, and from there, I told myself once I learned how to god bridge, I would be done forever. Or so I thought. And with that, let's start things off by looking at some of the easier sideways bridging methods. All of the methods just shown require you to hold shift at all times and therefore aren't very fast, and now as we get into some of the more intermediate ones, you're going to notice that they're a little bit faster, but with still some very basic clicking methods and techniques. Unicorn bridge. Speed bridge. As you can see, just a few types of different clicking methods and a little bit of practice go a long way into teaching you so many different unique types of bridges. Almost every bridging method past this point requires a clicking method I'm sure you've heard of, which of course is drag clicking. It took me a good couple of months to learn how to drag click and even longer to learn how to actually implement it into my gameplay. But in order for me to show you the steps leading up to learning how to bridge with drag clicking, here's a little mini montage of pretty much everything you can do with drag clicking. And now, I think what you're all waiting for is the non-shift bridges. These are bridges where you don't press shift, you usually drag click, and you move in an advanced motion that allows you to go very fast. And these bridging methods, well, let's just say they look pretty cool. Moonwalk. God bridge. All of these non-shift bridges put you in about the top 10% of all players, and if you can god bridge a distance of 50 blocks or more, you're put in the top 1% of all players. Now this is definitely a massive milestone on its own, and I remember being so excited when I reached it. However, the bridging community has progressed so far that a full god bridge is not even regarded as good anymore. Of course, god bridging is still a highly recognizable achievement in the overall Minecraft community, but the bridging community likes to take it a few steps further. Now, the more advanced bridgers in the community like to use a method called telebridging. Telebridging is essentially the idea of you jumping off your island and placing blocks behind you to catch yourself almost like a block clutch and then turning and repeating it over and over again. This allows you to get forward momentum in between placing your blocks, which makes it a lot faster than something like God Bridge where you're facing backwards at all times. The reason that there are so few telebridgers in the Minecraft community is because the method takes 100 hours or more to learn, which of course is a very large time investment for something that you're probably not even going to use in a lot of your gameplay. So if telebridging is essentially useless, why are so many players learning to do it? Over the past couple of years, bridging servers have become very popular, and players on these servers try to compete to get the #1 time. The players at the top of the leaderboards are so competitive that anything they can do to save even a 20th of a second is very valuable to learn. And for this reason, telebridging isn't even that useful, and they've moved on to a more advanced version of it. And this is called a speed telly. Speed tellies retain the same concept of you jumping off and placing blocks to clutch underneath yourself, the main difference being that a regular telly is a 5-block distance, but a speed telly is only 3 blocks. The reason doing a shorter distance is faster is because the final 2 blocks placed in a 5-block telly are always placed very slowly, and a speed telly essentially eliminates the slow part of a telebridge and replaces it with the fast part over and over again. This leaves more time for forward momentum, which of course allows you to get the fastest time possible. I did it! And there it was, the hardest bridging method in all of Minecraft. And I'd done it. Well, sort of. But honestly, it's pretty much impossible to actually do the real thing. If I loop the clip, it looks pretty cool though. Regardless, it's now time to move on to diagonal bridging. Now, diagonal bridging is a little bit strange, and honestly, I've never really given it much time in practice. Lucky for me, most diagonal bridging methods really only need a bunch of CPS and no skill, so I really had no issues. The only types of diagonal bridging I cannot do are chain diagonal telly bridges and speed tellies. But with that being said, let's take a look at the ones that I actually can do. As you can see, there's also some really fast ways to go diagonally. Regular diagonal telebridging and speed tellies are something that I just can't get my head around, and neither can most bridges, to be honest. Even on the biggest bridging server in Minecraft, MCPlayHD, the majority of the top 10 bridges don't even have a full diagonal telly. The reason for this isn't really difficulty, however, more so just that players don't want to spend all the time to learn how to diagonal telly when they're never really going to use it. There isn't a whole lot of interest in diagonal telebridging as a whole, and in regards to things like Bed Wars, it's definitely the most useless telebridge by far. I do believe that diagonal bridging will definitely gain popularity eventually, but as of now, players are more interested in focusing on their regular bridges. Personally, I definitely enjoy the more standard bridges a lot more, but I do like to mix it up a little bit, and so I have learned a couple diagonal gob bridging methods, and I even learned how to diagonal telebridge start, which is pretty fun. And now to show off all of the advanced bridging methods I've learned recently, here's a mini montage of some of the highlights. If you have enjoyed the video all the way up until this point and would like to see more videos like this in the future, please consider subscribing. It really does help out a crazy amount, and I put an insane amount of time into this video, so it would be greatly appreciated. With that being said, that is just about every bridging method I could think of, and with that, I really just want to say thank you so much for watching the video, and I will see you guys soon. Goodbye. You're joking. What was that? No, ain't no way.